Hey, how's it going, everyone? This is another episode of Project Debrief. I'm here. Usually I do this with Pablo, but today I've got a special guest, Alma Chavez, our operations manager. Hello, Alma. How are you?
Very good, Chris. Thank you
All
for
right.
letting me do one of these with you.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
it's interesting to look back at our projects, especially
hmm
this one, who has been an important one.
It was a good one. It was a big one for us. It was a lot of fun. The client was great to work with. I would say, looking back, this is probably my most favorite project that we've done so far. And I hate to say that because maybe someone else might be saying, listening, like, "Hey, I thought that was your favorite." But this one was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it mainly because when we got this, not only were we doing construction, we were doing property management. So we had this complex under contract to do property management. And when we took over, just to give some context, I believe there was about 10 units that were empty. Both buildings were infested with cockroaches. There was water damage all over the place. The cops were frequently called to this location because of a couple of troubled tenants. There were several tenants who were way behind in rent, and the rents were very low compared to the area. So when we came in, the owner had just purchased it. We came in with the property management company, and really the goal was to start renovating it, do what they call forced appreciation, is just to build value into the property. So we were going to do some renovations on the exterior, the interior, and I'll let you talk about the scope of work. But ideally, what the goal was is to get this to be a performing asset for the owner, which means getting good tenants in there, paying their rents, and raising the rent to the market value. So that's what we did. So before we get too far into that, you want to cover just on a high level what the scope of work was?
Yes. Well, for each unit, uh, um, they all had carpet, which is really outdated
hmm
and not very functional for a rental property. So, in every unit, we installed new LVP flooring, which is very durable and has been working well with rental properties.
hmm
So new LVP, new baseboards, new paint, new doors in some cases, new the kitchens. They're always destroyed, so we installed new appliances in most of them, which is another service that we provide for
hmm
investors. We purchase the appliances and then we take care of the delivery and installation, so it's like a full service.
Correct. Yeah.
Then, of course, the bathrooms, new tile inside the bathrooms, which
hmm
looks awesome instead of the fiberglass
Right.
that they usually have. It's more durable. I said painting, right? The ceiling, the
hmm
walls.
hmm
So in other cases, we also got the exterminator service
Yeah.
before we started working, because it's
hmm
also a risk for our workers to
Right.
be in there with the roaches, which was the problem in those units.
hmm
And I think you're going to show a video of that. Maybe we should give a warning for anyone who's watching and might be sensitive to these things,
If you
because
got a weak stomach, we'll tell you when
it's
to fast forward.
it's not gonna be pretty at the beginning, but for
Yeah.
sure the result is great.
hmm
So pretty much a full remodel for every
hmm
unit, and I think our client was very happy, and the
Yep.
units started to get rented. So I think it
Yep.
was a success.
Yeah, I agreed. And this was very close to a military base, so which was good because my wife and I are both prior military, so we were able to, market to those people, not specifically for them because you can't do that; it's illegal. But because we know what they're looking for, we were able to put several military families, young families, into these units. So it was cool. Really enjoyed it. So we can kind of let's go ahead and get into some of the stuff we did. Yeah.
We already have a good photo there.
Yeah, so this is what it essentially looks like now, based on Google. So We'll come back to this photo here in a moment, but where should we start? Do you want to start with the interior, or do you want to go with another? Let's. I don't know. Maybe the interior is like the sexy part, so let's leave that for last.
Yes.
let's do. Let's talk about the roof real quick. So whenever I talk about when you're renovating a property, you always want to work on the outer shell first, because if you're working on the inside first and you have a bad roof, it's going to leak, it's going to let the water in, and then all of a sudden you're having to redo all of the great work that you've already done. So you always want to start on the outside, the roof, siding, windows, make sure it's all sealed properly. That way the moisture and all the elements stay outside and not come inside and ruin your work. So the roof, I wish we had some better photos. We don't have all of the before photos because we just don't have them at the moment. But it's a flat roof. The scope of work was to redo the subroof, so you had all the plywood, and then you had the regular roof on top of that. But the scope of work did not include the trusses, which means there were still some dips and weaves and whatever in the roof, which caused some puddling in some areas on the roof. So and that caused some problems after we had installed the roof. We were still, even though we sealed it up over and over and over again, we were still getting some leaks in there. And if you look at this photo, is this big enough? Here, let me see if I can do this. There we go. If you look at this photo, the blue circles is where we had issues with puddling. And so what we decided to do is do a combination of two things. One, we wanted to add some drains to add some extra drainage, let the water out. But even if we did that, there were still some areas that still puddled. And what we did was we purchased some pumps that automatically came on when the water level got to a certain point. And when it got to a certain point, the pumps would come on and would pump the water off of the roof. But did we order what, two or three of those? I can't remember.
Yes. Well, if you see in that drawing, there's
Hmm.
three pumps. The P's stand for pump.
Oh, P stands for pump. How do you like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, I remember when we made that drawing for the client and
That's funny.
explained what we
Yeah,
were going to do. So the
right.
P is for pumps and the D is for drains.
Got it. Okay, cool. And these here are unit numbers that were reporting some water leaks in the ceiling and stuff. So that helped us determine where we should place these drains and pumps. And so the drains, essentially, we had to cut into the roof and create a drain. So we cut into the roof, installed some piping in the drain, put plywood back on there and sealed it all up again. And so with this drain along with the pump, since then we haven't had any issues. And we did
Hmm.
this I think a year and a half ago, right? I think it
Yeah,
was.
it's
And
been
then
working
obviously
out.
we what's that?
It's been working out. No
Mm-hmm.
complaints, no leaks
Yep.
in the
Exactly.
inside the units. So
Mm-hmm.
it worked.
And we added some new downspouts for the new drains. So drainage, I would say if you got a flat roof, check out where it puddles. If you're not going to replace the trusses, find those areas, create extra drainage. The pump thing is cool, but it does. We haven't heard any issues of noise or anything. But what we had to do is when we did the pump, we had to do an electrical job, so we already had electrical running across up here. I don't know if you can see my cursor,
Hmm.
but we had electrical running up here for the exterior lighting that we installed. We'll talk about that here in a second. But we had to run another line, a dedicated line for the pumps. So it wasn't just purchasing the pumps, but it was also adding in the electrical, which was an added cost. So if you can add in as many drains as you can to help with the drainage, you may not need to do the pumps. So that was the roof. A lot of lessons learned on that one, but it was good, and I think it was a good experience for us because it really gave us more tools in our toolbox for future projects.
Definitely. And we
Hmm.
kind of were the, I mean, not we, but you came up with the solution basically because we were struggling with with the roofers. Like they always want to do the whole thing again, right?
Yeah,
They want to fix
exactly.
it and they want to charge you for the full
Hmm.
replacement of everything. So
Yep.
you kind of did some research and found the pumps, and then
Hmm.
we proposed to do the drains. And at the beginning there they were kind of reluctant to do it, but we
Yeah, they
found
were.
we found them. We found
Hmm.
somebody who would work with us,
Yeah,
and yeah,
exactly.
there's here it is, it works. Yeah,
Yeah, it was funny. Like,
$50,000 less, and it works.
right. You know, so the roofers will go up there and like, hey, just, take a look at it, see what we need to do to resolve the flooding, or not. I don't want to say flooding, but more the pooling issue. And they come back with a full roofing, bid to us. We're like, this is not what we're looking for. We are not redoing the roof. It's already done. We just have to add drainage. So anyway, it took, like you said, finding the right person that would understand what we're trying to do and work with us. So it all worked out in the end.
Hmm.
Okay, so the next one, this was kind of fun for me. It was the parking lot, and so the parking lot was really, I guess, jacked up. It was really bad. There was craters all over the place. Tree roots had just really ruined that parking lot over the years. And in the middle of that parking lot was this huge crater. And I think there used to be a big tree there that just was cut down. And maybe they built that parking lot around the tree. I don't know. That's what it seemed like. And so that crater probably took up 4 parking spots. So it created a parking issue in the for the complex. So we got in there. We got our subcontractor Bruce came out, started tearing this up. He's right in the middle of that crater right there, just tearing up the asphalt. And here's
Hmm.
some photos of the roots, that just fraction of the roots that they took out underneath. So they took out all the roots, they backfilled the dirt, they leveled it off. They created like this slope, and they had their lasers out there and their strings and everything, just creating the slope so that way they know when the water, when it rains, and it rains a lot over there, it would slope into the drain. And we made sure that it worked. And there had not been any drain issues in that parking lot since. So you get an idea what the parking lot looked like before. And this is what it looks like now. It looks like a regular parking lot, nice and smooth. It's clean. It's sealed up. It looks really fresh and clean. It's a good looking parking lot. And this only took a week. I was surprised. Only took a week.
Yeah, I guess the biggest challenge of a job like that is to keep the tenants from parking there, right? When you're working, then
Yeah.
you have to continue to notify them, and then
Right.
there's always somebody who parks there, and then you have to ask them to move. So
Yeah.
it ran pretty smoothly, right? This job,
Yeah, it
no
did.
issues.
And that's kind of, our background is working with the property management companies where we'll give our recommendations. We found a place down the street where some people can park during the day if they stayed at home. Majority of these people went to work, but there's also a lot of street parking. And then we, during the project, we opened up different areas within the parking lot where people could actually park overnight, so they wouldn't have to walk, a mile to get to their apartment. So logistically, it worked out well. The project went super fast, and we got an excellent product afterwards. So yeah, this parking lot was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that one.
And no issues after
No, yeah,
um, years, right, of use.
exactly,
And
exactly.
rain, and lots of rain.
Lots of rain. That's right. All right, so we got the parking lot. We did the roof. Something small. We replaced the mailboxes. The mailboxes were all messed up, so we ordered some new mailboxes. Um, you reminded me last week that these mailboxes were in my garage for I don't know,
I was
long
gonna
enough for my
say,
wife to complain.
I was gonna say, not too small for everyone. I know some people was not very happy about these mailboxes.
Yes, that's right. So we got these removed from my garage down to where they're supposed to be. So one thing to keep in mind when you're getting new mailboxes like this, you have to be in touch with the postal service, the postman, and you have to talk to them and say, "Hey, I'm getting a new mailbox system." They have to come and put a special lock. Where's it at? Okay, so if you see right here, let me see if I can scoot in. You see these holes right here and right here. That's where the postman puts their lock, that with a key that only they have. And so it's important that you communicate with the postman so that way they can come in, schedule a time, get on the schedule to get that lock put in. That way the mail is secure and only the postman has that lock to open it up and put in the mail. That's kind of a big deal. You just don't go changing out mailboxes. You have to be in communication with the postman on this one and let them know what's going on. And I think there's also some like security code numbers or something on these boxes that you have to give them. So there's a lot more to it than just putting in a new mailbox.
Yeah, I mean, and just giving access to the tenants and really and
Hmm.
identify them with a unit number.
Yep.
So it's a lot of coordination with the property management.
It is. And when you order these, you have to find the right ones. You have to contact them and say, hey, I want two separate units, but we have 29 units. So I want them numbered this way. This one here has 32 boxes, so they have extra boxes because they only have 29 units. But you're right, the property management company had to go issue new keys to each of the tenants. So that was trying to do that with 29 different tenants is not the easiest thing to do,
Of
and they're not
course.
happy a lot. So
Of course, of course.
it's an inconvenience to them, but whatever. They're getting a new mailbox, but so something small, so small. There's a lot to it, right? You got tenants who are not happy, and you got the mailbox or the postman that has to be notified. So anyway, it's all good. All
Mhm.
right, so we did the mailboxes, we did the parking lot, we did the roof. Let's talk a little bit about some of the exterior work. So I mentioned earlier, we did do some exterior lighting. Before, the lights were just very dim. It was very dark in this area, and so what we did was we got these I don't want to say high powered, high enough powered that we're still within the legal limits. They weren't too bright where it was like, hey, you're not allowed to have these bright lights, but
Of
they were specific
course.
for a property like this. And
Hmm.
so we ran electrical across the top up here, got these LED lights up here, and then we also put in a digital timer box where you could do it with an app. So instead of the maintenance guy having to go in there and manually do everything, the property management company can do it over an app to change the timer of the lights.
Hmm. Hmm.
Do you remember this project? I can't remember.
I wasn't part of the team
Oh,
when the
okay.
lights were done.
Got it.
Hmm. Hmm.
So the lights, as you could see right here, and we did have an issue of one light over here. It looks like they took it down. I don't see it anymore, but it kept flickering, and the electrician replaced it a couple of times. So, yeah, I don't know where it's at because it would be like right here. Oh, here it is. This one right there. So,
Oh,
anyway,
uh-huh. Hmm.
those lights were really good. They made a huge difference, and made a huge difference when we got these cameras. So you can see right here, we got a camera here, one here. I think we had a total of 10 or 12 cameras in this complex. Majority of them were for the outside, but we also had a couple in the laundry room just to make sure no one was messing with the laundry room. We'll talk about that here in a sec.
Hmm.
Nothing special about the security cameras, but one good thing about it was that um, I don't know, maybe 6 months after we had installed the cameras, one of the tenants had reported that their car was stolen. And so we pulled up the camera footage and we had found that some guy was walking around over here, jumped into a car, and took off with her car. So we were able to download that video, send it to the police. We're not sure if they were able to do anything with it, but um, at least we
we
were able to give them some evidence, right?
we helped.
We helped. We did our part fighting crime.
Yes. Hopefully, they caught the guy, right?
Hopefully they did.
But yes, this is definitely important for security, the
Hmm.
lights
Yep.
and the cameras.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I did 10 years on the police department. So one thing we tell people is that if you want to scare away the bad guys, put lights because bad guys don't like lights. They like the darkness.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
lights and camera, if they know they're going to be on camera in a lit area, more than likely they're going to keep walking. So it's always good to add that. It wasn't a huge project. It wasn't super expensive. We just did normal camera system that had like a DVR where it would hold the recording for 2 weeks. You can download it on your iPad or your phone or whatever. You didn't have to have a third party system overseeing that. So it didn't cost, um, there wasn't a monthly fee other than getting internet.
Mm-hmm,
That
mm-hmm.
was the only monthly fee.
Yeah, and it wasn't like, I mean, with all the work we did for that property, I mean, it's part of the whole renovation project
Hmm.
for the property, and it wasn't. It made a difference. The cost wasn't as big,
Hmm.
but it's like for the package of a nice apartment complex, it
Yep.
was a must.
Yes. And it was not hard to install either. It wasn't hard to install. Socrates did it. I think
Mm?
he did it himself. I think he did it by himself.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it wasn't that hard to install for sure. And then just real quick, just some of the exterior. This I can't remember what color this used to be, but we painted it this nice gray color. The owners chose it with the white trim. The doors to the units themselves, you can't see them, but they're like a really dark green color. It was kind of nice. I liked it. And then the closet doors on the patios are all white, and then the white trim. So it was a really good color scheme, I thought, anyway. Some of the issues that we ran into, there was a lot of wood rot on the bottom here, as you can see right there. I'm not sure what happened there, but there was a lot of wood rot that we just cut into the trim, redid it. We got rid of all the vegetation that was touching the side of the house or the building, so that
Mhm,
way it would eliminate any or decrease the possibility of more wood rot. And the other thing we
mhm,
did too is you see all these vent holes on the top here for the roof
mhm.
ventilation.
Yeah. Mhm,
Um, we put screens on there because there's a lot of birds coming in and living and nesting in there. So we put screens up there, and then there is a crawl space. Not sure if you remember the cat lady who lived in one of these
yeah.
units, but she was feeding the cats, and there was a million cats over there. So they were living underneath the house. So we closed off the crawl space, and cats went away
Well,
after the cat lady moved in.
if everyone had cats, the bird problem would have never happened.
Oh, I shouldn't have brought up the cats with you.
I like cats.
All right. I don't think we did anything else out here, really. There wasn't anything spectacular, just a couple of trees that we took down. I know there was a big tree over here that we cut down because it was allowing rats to climb the tree and get on top of the roof. So we got rid of that. Any access to the top of the roof, we cut down those trees. So that's pretty much the extent of the exterior work. And let's see here. Let's get in. Let's talk about the laundry room real quick. I know we don't have photos of the laundry room, but um, laundry room, all we did, redid it. We put the brains of the security camera in there.
Hmm.
Um, and that's pretty much all we did. But then you remember we switched out the washing machines. You want to talk about that for a
with
second?
with the yes, so there's also a lot of coordination with every time you do exterior work or common areas like the
Hmm.
laundry room.
Yep.
You have to make sure that the tenants are notified, that the area is not going to be available for a while, and then also work with the company that installs them, right?
Right.
Because these are special washers, the kind that are coin operated, right?
Not the
So,
new ones.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, either way, we had to coordinate with this company, wash.com.
Hmm.
And I mean, it turned out really nice. I mean, a
It did.
functional laundry room. I mean, that
Hmm.
is very important for the tenants to be happy. So, less
Yeah.
complaints for the
Less.
property managers and the owner. Less problems, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the way Wash.com works is before we had the coin operated machines, which is a pain because two things. One, somebody had to go collect the coins, once a week or whatever. And if they didn't collect the coins, then the tenants couldn't use it because they couldn't fit any more coins in there. Second issue is when you have money somewhere, you're going to attract criminals, and criminals are going to come in and they're going to try to break into those machines. So Watch.com is purely 100% an app based program where you load money onto your app and you do laundry through your app. There's no money on site. at all. And the benefit is, you do some laundry, you could check your app and know that, hey, 5 more minutes, my wash is going to be done. So you don't have to time your watch or anything. Your app is going to tell you if your laundry is done or not. So I thought that was a cool program. And I think they supply the machines, but there's a profit split between the owner and Wash.com. I don't know how that works. I
Mm-hmm,
just know
mm-hmm.
that it's pretty much, I want to say free machine, but it's a machine you don't have to purchase, and there's no cash on the site. So
Right, right.
good deal. I'm sure
Good deal.
Wash.com, I'm sure there's other companies out there. I'm not endorsing Wash.com, but that's who we used, and they did a good job for us.
Yeah, and we use them for also for another property, right? That
Yep. I
they
think we
also
used them
did
for 2 or 3 properties. Yeah.
for Kendricks and
Hmm.
more properties.
Yep. Exactly. We'll talk about Kendricks in a couple episodes from now.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So let's go into the sexy stuff, shall we? The interior. This is what everyone is excited about. So this, I'll show you some photos of a different unit. This is unit 14, and as you can see, this is what the units look like before we touched them. And what they're doing here is there's moisture around the toilet, so there's issues with the toilet leaking onto the floor. You can see there's moisture issues back there, so you got some growth behind the toilet bowl, which is common. Toilet, or not the bowl, but you know what I'm talking about.
The tank.
The tank. There you go. Toilet tank. Those tanks were so close to the wall, there was no room for air to go in out. Right, so it was horrible. And here are the heating baseboards that just look horrible, rusted out, and the ceiling, some lights. So as you can see, this does not look like a place I would want to live in. But here is a unit. We'll show you the before video, not all of it because it's a long one. I'll kind of skim through it, but here's what it looks
Mhm.
like on the inside. Obviously, the tenant didn't do a good job taking care of the place. You could see the carpet that Alma was talking about earlier.
And they leave furniture behind. Oh, there's the
Yeah, we forgot to warn people. Here are the
yes.
roaches. I'm sure that there's a few roaches in that chair too.
That's why they left them.
Yeah. And you said we
That's
did
where
the patio on here, yeah? On this one?
excuse me?
We did the patio on this one too?
Yes, we did some repairs, not the full patio, but
Mhm.
you can see somewhere in the video there you can see the new boards on the patio.
This is nasty. Can you imagine living
Yes.
in that?
Yes, just
Ooh, look at that.
the roaches were everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. And yeah, I mean they had to wear a suit to come in. One of
Yeah.
those white suits to
Mhm.
protect themselves and take the video, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
That's nasty. All right, let's see. Let's go into the bathroom here. So you could see, you know, there were some. A lot of these upstairs units had water damage prior to the roof being repaired, and they never reported it. Oh my gosh, look at that! It's like a
Yeah.
family reunion
Yeah,
right
look,
there.
assuming if if that wasn't clear
Yes, I know, right?
enough.
All right, let's. Oh my gosh, he really liked to just like capture all those roaches, didn't he? All right, here's the
Yeah,
bathroom.
I mean we want to make a point so
Yeah.
that we want to make a point so they
Hmm.
understand the problem. And I mean
Yeah.
it's another expense, and we need
Hmm.
to make sure that we are showing why everything is needed, right? Why if
Yeah.
something
Exactly.
needs to be replaced and it's going to
Hmm.
cost, we need to have evidence for everything. So
And that's a good point. When you have evidence like this, because majority of the people we work with and projects like this, they're out of state. They're not in person. So they rely on us to be their eyes and to report everything that we see. So that's how we've developed our company, is to just really collect all this evidence. These
exactly, you
doors are
see
messed
those
up.
doors, there's a
Hmm.
hole. I mean we need to replace the closet doors, right?
Yep.
That carpet.
Yeah, that carpet. That carpet's bad. All right, let's see here. Where we at? So this is a 2 bedroom. So this complex had a mixture of 2 bedrooms, majority of them 1 bedrooms, and it had one studio.
Hmm.
And so
I
you
think
could,
we even did we replace that window? I'm thinking because it's
yeah, it looks a little messed up, huh?
uh-huh, uh-huh,
So that overspray with paint was not our paint job. As you can see, it's not gray. So I think it's I think it was the brown color it was before.
uh-huh.
So that window has been there for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so he's just going through closets and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. So everyone, you get the idea what it looks like before. Let's take a look at the after. Which one is it? This one. So this is a shorter video, but you can see how long did this take? Do you remember?
This is beautiful. Well, it usually takes us 3 to 4 weeks to complete a whole unit.
Mm-hmm.
But in this case, if you since we started, we knew about the roaches, right? So
Yeah.
we asked, I guess, I was counting since the exterminator showed
Mm-hmm.
up, I'm counting as we started, as
Okay.
this is our job, right? So
Yep.
maybe it took a couple of weeks because they go and
Mm-hmm.
then they have to let it sit and then go
Treat it
back
again.
because
Yep.
the problem was pretty big. So I will say 6 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, those
Mm-hmm.
exterminators, they treat it, they wait a few days, they come and treat again. Sometimes they have to come a third time. And this was bad enough, I would imagine they would have to come at least twice, maybe three times. But you can see here we got the quartz countertops, brand new cabinets, stainless steel appliances. We
Mm-hmm.
have the LVP flooring. LVP flooring is waterproof. So that's always a good thing. And, it's not like carpet where you got to get the carpet cleaned whenever the tenant moves out. You just do a nice sweep and a mop. And you can remember what the bathroom looked like, and this is what it looks like now.
Yeah, that sink, right?
Mm-hmm. New
It looks
sink, new
great.
vanity.
And for the tub, it's not you can see that it's a perfect tub, but it's not a new one.
Yep.
We use this resurfacing service,
Mm-hmm.
and we've gotten great results with that.
Yeah. So they research. I think of all the projects we've done, we've only had to replace two tubs, I think, because they were so bad. But the rest we were able to resurface. And when you're talking about working with investors, you find the most budget friendly method to achieve the result that is also going to be somewhat durable for renters.
Mm-hmm.
So another example of that is, you could see the wall, the texture is kind of, you got some flat areas, you got some with more texture. We didn't really touch the texture. It wasn't part of the scope. We just painted over it, fixed any drywall issues that might be there, but we really didn't change the texture at all. The paint color we used for all of this was agreeable gray. That seemed to be the popular color when we were doing all this work. White trim. Sometimes we had another projects they wanted to paint the cabinets a darker gray, and we used gauntlet gray, Sherwin-Williams, for those
Uh-huh.
cabinets. But
Mm.
these ones here, we used brand new white cabinets, and they looked great. Yeah, we did change out the window.
There's the new window, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we
So
really like that color, the
yeah,
agreeable gray.
it's easy. It's nice. The flooring is really cool. Big difference.
And those units are really great. I mean, you can see how the light comes in. I
Hmm.
mean, the buildings are the location is good.
Yep.
So all they
Exactly.
needed was this little a little help.
A little help. That's all I needed. Here's a different unit. I'm not sure which unit this is.
Mm.
Similar layout. You could see quartz countertops, the new cabinets, stainless steel. We use the same lighting. We got the agreeable gray. New,
Mhm.
what do you call these things? Baseboard heaters.
Yeah, and there's little things that we do like changing all of the plates and
Hmm.
the thermostats and the smoke detectors, right? Because
Exactly. Yeah.
everything needs to work. That was a requirement from the property management, right?
Exactly.
This has to be rent ready. So
Right.
more than the aesthetic of the unit, also that everything was functional. Everything we did these inspections where when a unit is completed, we check that the hot water is working, that every
Hmm.
light is working, that the appliances are installed correctly. So it's a lot of work, but
Hmm.
it becomes easy when you do this many units, right? Because we did
Yep.
all of the units in that apartment complex.
Exactly. Yeah, we want to make sure that when we're done with the project, a tenant can move in the next day. And that's how we want to operate, knowing that everything works, everything is clean. Um, and we just, because of our property management background, we just know that that makes a huge difference. So
Hmm.
that's what we want to do. And if you have We've done duplexes, we've done 5 unit complexes, and we've done a 64 unit complex. So size doesn't scare us, whatever it is. We just know how to work with you all, the investors, and to work with your property management companies too. So, what else can you say about that, Alma? Anything to add?
Well, I guess that we also it's not like we come in like you said when we started there was 10 units available, right?
Hmm.
And then we can do several units at the same time
Right.
simultaneously, and that will save us some time, right? We can
Right.
do them faster because we do like the flooring for everything, and then
Hmm. Hmm.
also there's there could be little savings, right, if you use the same
Right.
materials.
Right.
And it just works to do projects like this. It works for us
Hmm.
because it's easier for us, and it works for the investors also.
Exactly. And a couple of the things that, as you were talking, I was just reflecting back on our experience. Is once if you have a complex that's like this, it's underperforming, and your goal is to raise rents, you're going to renovate and raise rents to market value. What you're going to see is when you start renovating and you have all this activity in construction, the tenants are going to start talking amongst each other, and they're all going to say, "Hey, they're going to raise the rents on us. They're going to kick us out, right?" And all of a sudden, they're going to start looking for places to move to even before you even talk to them. So you can expect a good amount of people to leave during construction. So you're going to have 2, 3 more units available once that construction is going on, and then that means we'll continue working. So just know that that's going to happen. It's natural, but there's also the people that are a little stubborn, and you're just going to have to be creative on whatever your state allows. You can, if they're month to month, just say, I'm not renewing your lease. If their lease is coming up, I'm not renewing your lease. Or you do a cash for keys scenario, which we've done several times. That's on the property management side, where you say, hey, I'll give you $1,000. You move out, give me your keys, and we'll call it quits. And it's good to go. So, several strategies you can use. Talk to your property management about that. But when it comes to construction, we can help you out for sure. We can work with you. We can work with your property management company. We can work with
And
both of you.
with if you're getting credit
Oh, I
for
forgot about that.
your
Yeah.
hmm
Okay.
hmm
Exactly. So, thank you. We so obviously, if you've got a project this big, you're not just pulling out your wallet and giving me, $10 here and there to fund the project. Typically, you're using a loan, and if you got a complex that's 5 units or more, it's going to be a commercial loan. So the way that works is that you got a draw process, and they pay based on completion, percentage completion. So, you have this big project, the bank has an amount of money that you're going to give you, and then your construction is going to go on and say, okay, we completed 50% of the roof. They'll send out their bank inspector, they'll inspect it, they'll confirm it, and then they release 50% of those funds. And then you keep working, and then you just got to make sure you work with a contractor who understands working with the bank, doing all the paperwork for that. There's a lot of paperwork. It's a bit of a pain, but we've done so much of it that we're pretty good at it now. We've done over $6 million worth of bank draw work. So we've got our process down.
yeah, with lots of documents, and then every time we complete part of the work, they
Mm-hmm.
come and they have to do an inspection, right? They need
Right.
evidence to release the fund.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we also do that. We talk
Yep.
to them and we give them access, right?
Yep.
So we have
Mm-hmm.
somebody from our team who would walk the units with them
Right.
without the owner of the property, or
Mm-hmm.
well, I guess we can rely on the property management too, but we try to have someone from our team to show them everything. They will have the things that should be completed and they
Mm-hmm.
check together, so
Yeah.
we can help also with that.
Yeah, we've done in that particular area, we've done so many of them that they tend to use the same inspector. So we got a really good relationship with the inspector, and it was really cool. I can't remember the guy's name, but it was good to see him every couple of months for a new draw request, just to go walk around with him and chit chat and see how things were going. So it's kind of cool. But yeah,
Mhm.
we've got that experience. We know how to do it. We know how to do the bank draw process. We know how to talk to your bank. We know what to ask your bank. We know the paperwork. We know the spreadsheets. We get all that experience. Every bank has got their own process, a little bit different, but they're generally about the same. So we know the right questions to ask. So we know what exactly to expect and how do we communicate to you, the owner, on how we're going to work together on that.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, thanks for reminding me of that. I've completely, I got it right here written down like big letters, bank loan draw process, and I
That
forgot
was,
again.
I guess, we get excited with the transformation of the property, right?
Mm-hmm,
Because
mm-hmm.
that is it's amazing to see for everyone. I know that
Yeah.
anyone who watches a video of a unit like that, and then you
Mm-hmm.
see the transformation, oh, you get excited about it, and
Yeah. Yeah.
we do too.
It,
I
we
mean, it's
yeah we
not like
do. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, like you see the roaches, like wow, what is it going to look like in a couple of weeks? And as on the property management side, well, even on the construction side, we'll talk about Union Avenue when we did those units. You know, there are some really bad units there, and in a span of I don't know 6 to 8 weeks, we were able to remove a tenant that was not taking care of the property, fix it up, and put in a new tenant who just absolutely loved it and said, "Wow, this is amazing. This is the best thing." And even the city came in and they said, "Wow, this is an amazing unit," because they put a red tag on it, right? Because they saw it before. We'll get into that. We'll talk about Union Avenue in another episode. But yeah, that's exciting. That's fun. We love that stuff, right? If it looks like trash and crap, whatever you want to turn it around, that's what we do. We
Mhm,
like that
mhm.
stuff.
And in this case, there it was. I believe it's a full renovation, and the
Hmm.
quality of the materials was great. To
Hmm.
have, I mean, talking about quartz and tile, right?
Yeah.
This looks great, but if an investor has a different idea and wants to use formica for the
Hmm.
countertops
Hmm.
and wants to use the fiberglass
Yep.
in the bathroom, we can also do that, right?
Yep.
For
Hmm.
sure, they might have to replace it more often because of the usage,
Hmm.
but it's still gonna look great and it's
Yeah.
gonna be appealing for new renters.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's one thing that we found. I don't know if it was in this one or another complex where we started off with quartz, and we started going with formica. The rents were the same, saved a little bit on the countertop. But me personally, like you said, longevity, I would have went with quartz.
Mhm.
But everyone's got their reasons, and if you want to go formica, we can do that. You go to fiberglass shower surround, we can do that too. If you want to keep your cabinets and paint them, we can do that too. So whatever the preference is, we'll go into a unit and say, hey, these cabinets are strong. um, I I would keep them if I were you. Let's just if they're good and we don't need to paint them, cool. If painting them might make sense, we'll make that recommendation. But we're not going in there trying to tear everything up. We're going in there and saying, okay, what can we save to achieve the vision of the owner, and what do we recommend getting rid of?
We have the experience of to be able to identify where savings can come up,
Hmm.
right?
Exactly.
And we
Exactly.
showed in this unit, we showed new appliances, but I
Hmm.
mean, if the fridge is it's fine, it's just dirty, right?
Yep.
We do like a very deep clean to
Hmm.
it. We take
Hmm.
care of that too,
Yep.
and it's gonna work fine, and you don't need to
Exactly.
buy a new one.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. The goal is to achieve the vision of the investor while still trying to save them some money in some areas.
Exactly, exactly. We love
Well,
these
cool.
projects.
That was fun, Alma. Thanks for joining me on this.
Yes, it was. No, thank you,
Cool.
Chris. It's always fun to go back to these projects
Yeah, it
and
is. It's kind of, reminiscing a bit. It's been a couple years since we've done this project, but we've got several more that we've done together. Alma's going to join me on majority, or actually all of the multifamily ones that we did, because you were the one that was um, just really the person to do all the coordination and communication on those ones. So we'll hit a few more in the next couple weeks.
Mhm. Looking forward to it, Chris.
Same here. Same here. And then maybe next time I'll wear my elevation shirt. Alma was getting on my case because I was
Oh
not
my
wearing
God.
my elevation shirt today. So I just
Yes,
didn't feel like
yes.
I wanted to wear my T-shirt today. So,
Uh-huh. I'll remind you beforehand so you get ready.
all right, sounds good.
All
All
right.
right, cool. Thanks, Alma.
Thank you.